Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. And yeah, the last one was a bit on the edge, wasn't it? So I'm expecting a bit of kickback maybe in the future on that, but I'm like impartial. I'm not connected to anyone with those products, but it kicked up quite a discussion. I also want to point out there's a guy that's obviously been watching me that long that mentioned about these MP7 mags being in the corner for the past year, and you're not wrong. I don't know why they're there. I didn't even know there were two, but there's a lot of mess here, so I'm just waiting to get set up in the new digs, which you'll get more information on soon. But what are we here for today? We're here to look at a new gun. So I bought something else, and many of you are going to be like, "Oh God, not again!" And hopefully you can see this, but maybe not. The box is huge for the size of the gun, but this is a Colt branded box, and this is something from Cybergun, linked in with CYMA and the CGS system. So you know I love my gas blowbacks, and you'd be like, good God, why have you bought another CGS? And the whole reason I've bought yet another CGS is because they do make some cool models. Models that no one else is really doing. Now, first of all, in the box, you get one of these speed loaders. These are some of the best manual speed loaders I've come across. Every time I get a CGS, I always put this in the speed loader bank, and we'll happily keep that as a spare. Also in the box, we have a short, sort of Vietnam style 20 round magazine, which is a CGS mag. But CGS, CYMA CGS, T8, whatever you want to call them, they keep releasing new models, and they have done a lot of retro stuff. And I'm not saying this is brand new, but when I look at one of the distributors' sites and I see this, I'm like, oh, you know what, I want to do something with that as well. So let me get this box out of the way, because we don't really care about that. And we can get this out here. I've got so many of these boxes now, I need to do a tip run and get rid of them all, because I've got so much cardboard. I don't believe the amount of guns in this room. But first of all, it's very oily, so I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down. So it's another gas blowback. This is from CYMA and T8, and it's sort of licensed by Cybergun. Cybergun now being part of EMG, and they do a lot of retro models. And we know from the previous videos, if you haven't seen those already, I got the N23 and I also got the Salient Arms GRY. Now, if you did watch those videos and you follow along, all my videos are in series, so you can kind of just follow my journey. A lot of people don't like that, but and would rather me focus more on putting a really in-depth review together, and it's just not my style. So what you'll always find is there's usually quite a bit of continuity between the episodes. But if you have been watching me for a while, I can't show you the N23 because I'm doing some stuff with that, but I can show you the GRY, which you may have seen in one of the recent videos. And this runs on the CGS system. This gun looks fantastic. It feels great, it really does. But it performs like a bag of crap. It really is awful. It doesn't shoot well at all. And it's the same with the N23 when I bought it. Now, if you go to some of their older models, because I think I've got like 4 or 5 of these now. This was the Strike Industries CGS, and this doesn't have the lightning bolt system. So this is their usual steel bolt. And apart from it being very inaccurate when we shot it on the range, because you've got a really short barrel, T8s aren't really the best in terms of accuracy and range. They shot pretty well, you know, in terms of how the bolt functions and everything. They reciprocated, they gave quite a bit of recoil, and when they're empty, they lock back. And you know, functionality wise, they were fine. The Noveski N4 that I had, which came to me from Evite Europe, that was the same. Actually, that gun shot very well. But all their lightning bolt stuff, which is, you might see it. It says Lightning Series there on the bolt. So they've got really lightweight bolts, and this will be the third Lightning Series gun that I've had from them. And so far, 2 out of 3 have been awful. But we're going to take a look at this today. Now, why have I bought this? Because it's a CAR-15. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This gun is really, really cool. I always wanted... I can't remember who built the AEG ones all that time ago. Was it maybe GMP? And I always wanted one, but at the time I wasn't really into retro stuff. And again, I'm in a fortunate position where I can, you know, get a lot of these guns in. I review them for you guys. It's all at my own expense, or now the company's expense. So I'm in a fortunate position where I have a lot of this stuff. I've got a lot of modern stuff, so I like to sort of branch out and do it. And at the moment, I'm digging carry handles. So I've got the N23, which I'm massively modifying. I've got my M733, which is actually built on a Marui, which performs amazing. I think it's a Nova body. It was built by Boom Arms. So N23, I've got the Boom Arms M733. I've got the new Wolverine Fossil Dig 2, which I showed off recently. And now I've got another one, which is this CAR-15. And I just think this is really cool. I may even just leave externals. I might just leave this alone. Because it's just, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. So CAR-15, I'm not the best person to talk to you about the history on these things. But it's got all the markings on there. You'll have to tell me in the comments down below, those of you out there that are very, very well educated, if these markings are correct. You've got this short... Now, those of you that know much about these retro rifles, just know that what I say now, I'm talking to the people that don't know stuff. So I may use wrong terminology. I may get information wrong. Don't try and roast me too much. But I'm just speaking to the normal end user that probably doesn't even know what this is. But it's a old school retro AR-15 with, you know, a carry handle integrated up, as a lot of the old models were. This, you'll notice this looks very reminiscent. The closest relative it has are the old Vietnam M16s. They had triangular handguards as well. But obviously it's a shortened front end. You've got a front sight post on there as well. They've got this really chunky flash hider. Feels like it weighs a ton. Is that solid metal? If that is a solid piece of metal, I'll be very surprised. But I don't see any seam lines. Maybe that is just a solid chunk of aluminium. It does weigh quite a bit. We've actually got nice threads on there, unlike the Wolverine we looked at recently. So I'm guessing this is period accurate to whatever flash hider they would have on there at the time. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the XM177, but obviously shortened down. Now, the interesting thing is you've got a full stock on this rifle, but with the CAR-15s, you've got this little switch at the back, and you basically switch it to the other side, and it extends. So you can extend it if you're a slightly taller user. It's like a shortened full stock, like I said, and it enables you to have a folding stock. Was it the first folding stock of its kind? I really don't know, but there we go. So an old style grip as well. I can't remember the name of these grips. There's I think it's A1 or A2s. I can't quite remember. But yeah, there you have it. So CGS system, like I said, you can already see the bolts getting a bit got jammed up there. So I'm going to pop the pin out. Can we get it out with our fingers? This is always the test, because I'm not a fan of like pins that are really tight. I like it when companies get it right and you don't have to use a tool to punch the pins out. Now, you do have to be careful with these Lightning Series CGSs, because when you remove this, usually this thing wants to shoot out. Now, it hasn't done it this time. Can we get the front pin out? Don't think so. Let's see if we can tap this out with something. So we'll split the upper and lower receiver. We've got the CGS trigger pack there, as we've seen before. The selector is really stiff to get it to start turning, but then it clicks into place nicely. The trigger, I feel like these should have a good trigger, but it's really not. Think of it as a scratchier Marui trigger. I think the DE ones are a little bit better. So in here we have these cheap blue buffers. I imagine with their Lightning series they really cut down on what they're doing and sort of put cheaper bits and pieces in. We can take a look at this bolt. I'm also not a fan of the CGS hop adjusters because I much prefer the Marui ones or the DE ones where you've got the little wheel, because I can put my hand up in the magwell like this and I just twizzle my middle finger and I can just rotate it on that wheel and adjust my hop. I don't need any tools. All I need to do is lock the bolt back, take the mag out and adjust it. These require you to use a screwdriver. So you would have some kind of flathead screwdriver. You go in through the magwell. So you have to have a tool to adjust these. And what I've noted using them, they're not the best, but it's there. This thing is incredibly lightweight. It weighs practically nothing. I think all the weight is in the rear end piece here. So these are the Lightning series bolts. The manufacturing on them honestly doesn't look all that bad. You'd look at it and go, actually, that's not a bad bit of machinery. I've seen far worse. But we're going to see if this performs like the others. So can we get the pins back in with that hammer? I don't think so. The pins are really stiff. Really stiff. There we go. They're always a bit like resistant of you closing the receivers as well, so they pinch here. But I imagine the reason why they do that is because when it's together, there's no flex or wobble in the receiver. There's a little bit of wobble in the handguard. To be honest, I'd probably take these sling points off. Who knows whether I'll use this in a game or not. I just think it's going to look cool as hell on the new wall when we've got it built. So right, little mag. Let's charge this up with a bit of gas. I'm going to be using pure propane. Now, me personally, I haven't had a horrendous experience with these magazines. They've actually been not too bad. The Lancers, most things I've tried have they've worked pretty good. So we're going to get some more 2.5s and we'll fill this mag up. We'll give it a quick chrono and we'll see what it's doing. Hopefully it's where it needs to be. I'm not going to fill this speed loader up because I really don't need to. And that is full. So what do we do, boys and girls, when we filled a mag all the way to the top? We either strip one out or we insert it with the bolt lock back. So I'm just going to strip one out. And that stops you ramming the magazine in and damaging your nozzle. Right, so we should be good to go. We'll see if it can empty a whole mag. We're set to 0.25 gram BBs. Let's put the first one through. I will see that bolt sticking, the nozzle sticking. I will drop the bolt back anyway. We'll load this in, drop the bolt. We're going to point down. Does anything fall out the barrel? Yes, it does. So what that means is what we need to do, which is a little bit more annoying with these CGSs, we need to drop the bolt back and we need to put a bit of hop on because the hop unit or the hop system currently isn't holding a BB and they're sort of rolling down the barrel. So we'll do it again. Another one drops out. Let's give that. Now we're about half on, so it really shouldn't be doing this. Let's do it a little bit more. We are clearing the barrel. Doesn't look too bad in terms of excess lubrication being there. We're going to point it down. And it happens again. So we're just going to have to roll with it. I'll try and hold the gun backwards. God, it's very, very lethargic. So here we go. First round. We are 0.753 joules. The gun was lethargic. 0.838. 0.745, it's a little bit better now. 0.614. 0.79. 0.719. 0.78. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the barrel back. Lock the bolt back even. 0.694, and I'm just going to try and just put a little bit more hop on. I don't think the hop is holding the BBs at all. So 0.818, 0.805, so a little bit better there. We're gonna, that wasn't 20 rounds, that was 10. Minus, you know, plus 3 for what we did knocking them out the barrel. So that was about roughly 13, 15 rounds. Now, I can't get any more ammo in there. So before we gas it up, I'm just gonna, and I'll just show you the last read on the chrono there so you know I'm not gassing it up. So 0.805. So I'm just gonna try and shoot this mag semi-auto and see if we can get through another mag. So I'm gonna count the rounds as well. So 1, 2, 3, and we are done. So we can't quite finish the mag there. So we'll top this back up. Oh, I think it's a trick of like having the loader in the right place. We'll put a bit more gas in it. One thing I will say, these CGS mags, they're not, the metal ones aren't the best magazines that they do, but they are lightweight. I mean, this is gassed, you know, fed with BBs. Can you see that there? So what do we weigh at? 300 grams, 307 grams. That's gassed up and loaded with BBs. Let's try this again. So we've done some semi-auto. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick it to auto and we're going to see if it can get through the mag, see what happens. No, so we got stuck. It threw gas absolutely everywhere. So the bolt is like getting stuck. So something happens here because that was basically in a state where it could get stuck. And now it's not. So, and now it is, and you can feel the bolt binding. I think it's something to do with the receiver, you know. So you see how it's binding, it's getting stuck. And then, I don't know if you could hear that. Like it returned much faster. Like that. It's weird. The bolt's binding up on something. So, right, so we can't do that. Kind of more of the same of what we saw. Now I am going to see what magazines I've got available. We'll try a couple of different mags. See if it gets any better. We'll just see if we can shoot the rest of these off. No. Oh yeah, so it did 3 shots. It just shot that weak that I thought it would not function again. So that bolt issue is a problem. It's just binding up, and then yeah, not good at all. So a bit more of the same, which is a shame because the externals actually look pretty good. Let's see what magazines we've got available to try. We've got, actually, that would be a quite cool one to try. That's that Bolt MWS magazine, so we can try one of them. We can try a double eagle / salvo. So let me gas that one up first. So there's the salvo mag. And there's the bolt mag. Right, so going to use our easy loader, the salvo magazine. That should be enough. I can't remember if this worked on the bolt magazine. It might not have. Oh, yeah, it does. Right, the bolt magazine. The bolt magazine, I think in my test wasn't bad. It's just not something that I would buy over other brands. So this is a salvo magazine. We'll see how this runs. So we did manage to shoot all the rounds, but the gun is lethargic and slow, like reciprocating quite slowly. I think it's getting bound up. See, it's not quite working there. So nothing was coming out of the barrel. It just seems with these Lightning series CGS guns, they're very gas hungry, but where is the gas going? Because you haven't got the recoil, you haven't got the power, they're coming out really low powered, they've not got cross compatibility with Maruis. But you might be saying, well, you know this because you've already bought 2 of the Lightning series and they were both bad. Well, yeah, so what I'm going to be doing is basically gutting all the crap out of this and whacking a load of Marui spec bits in, which I've now got to do out to 3 guns. So I'm adding to my workload, but I wanted it because it's a CAR-15 and it looks cool. So hope you like the video. It's interesting to see this, of course. In terms of the CGS Lightning series, they are quite possibly some of the worst gas blowbacks I have used. And I don't say that lightly. Like the other CGSs that I've got, and here's this. I think this is the one at the N23. So same bolt, it's just a different colour. But if you are thinking about going and picking up a CYMA CGS Lightning series, you should only do so if you really want this to be on your wall as a wall hanger, or you plan on gutting it out and replacing it all with Marui spec parts like I'm going to. So I'm not going to be putting Tokyo Marui branded parts in them. I'm going to be using Double Eagle stuff. I was testing with that stuff before I heavily started modifying my N23, and it worked surprisingly well. So what I did was I took the upper from the CGS and I put it onto a Marui lower, managed to get it on there, and then just put a Marui bolt in, and the gun performed flawlessly. So me speaking about it, I know a couple of my viewers, you guys, have took what I was going to do and sort of beat me to the cuff and done it, and have sent me messages and gone, yeah, it works absolutely great. So they do a bunch of different models. You've got the CAR-15, you've got the, what's the slightly longer M723, I think it is. M733, they've got the XM177s, they've got the N23, they've got the M16 VNs, they've got the M16, the more modern variants, and then they've got a bunch like Mark 12 SPRs, and the amount of models they do, they even do 416s. So they do a ton of models, which if you're into converting them, happy days. If you want to buy a CGS Lightning Series gun and use it, avoid it, go get something else because the system is crap. Sorry to CYMA, CGS, T8 and all that stuff, but they can't be testing these guns before they're releasing them from the factory, because that's 3 out of 3 now that I've had, which have all been really, really bad. So hope that saved you some money or given you a bit of inspiration for your own build. I can't wait to sort of build this out with some parts that work and run this in a bit of CQB, maybe go old school, don't run a torch or a trace. Well, you might need a tracer, to be honest. And just run it. And I can't wait to sort of try out this stock system and see if I get on with it. But it will also, you know, happily go on to, you know, the gun walls where I'll have all my MWSs. If you considered CGSs as MWSs, I've got must have well over 30 of them now, so there's going to be a good variation on there of all different shapes and sizes and colours. So I'm going to leave it there because I've waffled on a bit too long now. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. The bench's days are numbered. There might possibly be a new bench at the new place, which some of you are sad about, but it doesn't make sense to take this one with me because it's pretty much fixed where it is. So thank you as always. Hit up the Jaeger Precision Discord group. The link will be down in the description below. Hope you're all having a cracking week. Enjoy your weekend. But from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next video.